Welcome back to the Race Recap. This is an experimental episode. I have just finished watching the first run of the first Levi Ladies Slalom from 2021. I'm going to try and go through the entire start list here and at least highlight the people that I like and I want to talk about. And I'm trying to talk to young ski racers or people who are interested in ski racing from a athlete mindset of what they did in their performance and how their approach should be, and especially as we move into the second half of the race, which is people trying to make the second run, what they're up to, and trying to highlight people all the way through the list. There's a lot of really cool action in this ski race, and it's not all just Petra and Michaela at the top. It was a good weather day out there, so the first run was excellent. I watched the whole thing on Peacock. I recommend everybody get Peacock. Peacock is so good. You get to see the entire first run. There's no commentary. You can watch it. You see what's going on. You listen to the gate slapping. You listen to the skis on the snow. There's so much information coming from a first run of a ski race. And so I want to go through it from that context of the information that's in a ski race for young athletes or for somebody who's looking to understand ski racing better. First out of the gate was Kristen Liesdahl out of Norway. She didn't have such a great run, and actually I missed it. That's the thing about watching it live, is you got to be there on time. What just happened? The start list just flipped. What are these guys doing? Oh man, I'm on the internet. I'm on the FISs. They just took it away. Run one. Let's get back. There we go. All right, I'm back to it. Petra Vlhova, second out of the gate. She had the winning run of the first run. She skied extremely strong. Powerful out of the start. Her pump across the top flat was amazing. She rolled up everything on the top flat, even through the first little roll. She was smooth, and then down the pitch, she came down with just a little bit of a power slide in, but was pressuring the ski in the fall line and ripping, and just skied absolutely great. Michaela Schifrin did not pump as hard across the top flat as Petra, and she was, I forget, but maybe 3/10 out or 3/10 off Petra, moving on to the pitch. But then Michaela beat Petra on the pitch and across the final split into the finish line, and she's only 11 hundredths off of Petra. Wonder if the back injury kept Michaela from really powering across the flat, but to me it looks like if she goes and powers across the top flat and skis the pitch in the bottom like she did, she can easily overtake Petra on the second run. Maybe that's part of her tactic. I hope so. Good luck, Michaela, second run. Number 4 was Wendy Holdner. It was awesome to see Wendy Holdner back in a World Cup. She looked strong. She really went at it in that classic Wendy style of really sending it. But she looked a little bit smoother than she has in the past when she was super sendy. So whatever the injury was that had Wendy missing Solden, it looks to be totally gone. She was 9/10 out, but I think that it was a good run for her, and I think she can make a big charge on the second run. And who knows? I mean, she could easily end up on the podium with a real sendy Wendy second run. Lena Dorr was number 5. Lena Dorr is skiing excellent. She really skied well out there. She was very strong across the top flat. I think she may have even won a split on the top flat. On the pitch, she was a little heavy on her edges below the gate, and then she had one big mistake. And then she powered it into the finish line and ended up only 0.72 out with that big mistake. So Lena Dorr is actually, her speed in the first run was top 3 speed. She's got something going on. I'm excited for Lena Dorr this season. Katrina Liensberger was next, last year's overall slalom champion. It was so weird seeing the red bib on her and not Petra or Michaela, but then just reminded, no, Liensberger was the best slalom skier last season. And she came down, had a mediocre run for her, especially compared to last season. She's 0.72 out. Next up, Michelle Gissine. Gissine is, she's won a slalom before. She didn't look as smooth as she needs to be. She was powerful and she was charging. She was a little bit grip going down the pitch. She had a little deviation in her skis, so the outside ski was pushing away just a little bit more. It wasn't parallel and pressuring in the fall line. So she's given up a little bit of speed almost on purpose coming down the pitch. She is 0.70 out. She is sitting in right now 5th. So it was a good run for her. I mean, she's competitive in slalom. She seemed really pleased with that run, which was cool. Dora Leensberger. Paula Moltzen was next up from the U.S. Her skis looked too sharp. She was really holding on her edges too much and doing a little hook at the end of the gate. She looked great on the top, but did not really rip it. I guess she's sitting in 16th, 18th, sitting in 18th. Paula Moltzen is the 2017 NCAA National Slalom Champion and a 3-time All-American, by the way, from UVM. Pretty cool. I'm going to move over to my notes here because we're not going to talk about every single person in the race. There's just too many of them. Bib 10, Shari Mari, Austrian. She looked quick. She looks like she has switched equipment. I don't know. It was good. She looked all right. Number 11, Andrea Scholar. She ripped it. And when she just won the parallel event, and she came out of the gate gunning. And I was pretty sure she was going to be fast. I'm pretty sure that parallel event is not a fluke. I think Schlokar is in it for the long haul, and she's going to be a total gamer on the World Cup. She charged it. She moved into 3rd. It was awesome to see it. She's on Nordica equipment, which is really cool, seeing a girl on Nordica, and she powers it. She skis it super powerful, and it's fast, and it's good, and I'm liking what she's doing. Laurence St. Germain was next. She's from Canada. She was a bit on her heels the whole way down the pitch. Didn't really have it going on. She is also a 3-time All-American out of UVM. Very cool. Bib 13, Anna Sven Larsen. She caught me off guard a little bit. She ripped it. She was very fast. She is in 4th place right now, and she even did a double take. She came through the finish, and she looked at the board, and then she looked back to the board because even she was shocked that she was sitting in 4th place. But, I mean, she just sparked one. It was cool to see her come out. I didn't really think that she was going to be that quick this season, but I'm psyched. She's good. Next up was Dubovska out of Czechoslovakia. The Czech GSU right now is out of control. The most logos and sponsors I've ever seen. It looks like a European soccer club. Bib 17, Katarina Trupe out of Austria. I really like Katarina Trupe. She's a smaller athlete, and she gets it done with finesse and quickness, and when she's on her game, it's really, really fun to watch. She almost floats down the hill. It's beautiful to see. She is coming off a pretty tough season last season, and so I really want her to get some confidence built up. She came down into 16th place. She looked semi-happy in the finish line with the result, but I think that it was a good first step for her because last season she was back in the 20s and looked lost, especially at the end of the season. She got left off of the World Championship team, and I think that really messed with her head. So she's coming back. Next up was Bib 18, Camille Rast. Camille Rast is a really good case study for young athletes. She had her breakthrough season last year where she made some second runs and then did something with them, moved up, and it caught me off guard again that she was starting Bib 18 in today's World Cup. So a couple good results at the end of last season. All of a sudden she's starting Bib 18, and now she's in a World Cup ready to go. She did not have a great day out there. She missed a second run, which is a bummer, but it'd be worthwhile to go back and look at Camille's start positions and results from last season, see how she did it on the World Cup to get herself starting 18 the next season. It's amazing what can happen over the summer. All of a sudden, a few people retire and the start list shakes up a little bit and you find yourself in there. Bib 20, Erin Milzinski from Canada. She was extremely heavy below the gate all the way, and she was in the back seat. She's sitting at 27th. She made the second run. She looks good. She's sitting on atomic equipment right now, and she looks really good on that atomic equipment. I just want her to get a little more into the fall line, I guess, and push it a little more forward. She's holding back. Her turn is in the right spot. She slide, hooks, and goes, but isn't really just charging with it. She can be really fast. I am hopeful for a real charger second run from her. Maybe she can be that girl that wins the run by like a second and moves way up. So looking out for that. At this point in the race, I was asking myself, what's going on with the Norwegian girls? The Norwegian girls did not look good from the get-go. Like Lisdal didn't look good. I didn't write them down here, but the next few didn't look good, and the Norwegian girls just looked like they didn't have it out there in Levi. Bib 24 came down. She's from Norway. She hung a tip. And then next was Falstrom. I don't know what's her name. Magdalena Falstrom of Sweden. She ended up in 39th. She looked really confident in the starting gate, but then got way far behind it and did not do great on the pitch. Bib 26, Melanie Maillard. I really like Melanie Maillard. When she was 19 and broke onto the World Cup, she was top 6 in her first year of World Cup. All she did was just put down these floaty runs that were super connected and flowed together, and there wasn't a lot going on. She wasn't doing it with a lot of glitz and glam. She was just confident and clean in her line and just was like 6th place like every World Cup. And then she blew her knee out and came back last season. Last season she was off for most of the year, but then she had one of those runs at the end where she just floated again. It looked like she was going to come back to the Melanie Maillard of old. Today was not her day, however. There was no spunk in her skiing, and she missed the second run. Bib 27, Thea Louise Schursand. Now, I was about to write Norway off. I just didn't think they had it out there. Then Thea Louise comes down and absolutely hammered one. 1.19 out. She's sitting in 10th place right now. She looked good. She looked strong. She looked physically fit out there, which is something that maybe from the other Norwegian girls I don't always see. I think they're a little slight and they don't quite have the power, but Thea Louise Schursand had it. Right, out there first run. It was awesome. Really fun to see. Bib 28, Peterlini was the first Italian to go. Crazy to think that Bib 28 is your first Italian. There are some great videos on YouTube by Trigger Boy. It's a YouTube channel out there where he has video of most of the teams training pre-Levi. And it's amazing that you can watch all these teams train pre-Levi from just Tuesday and get a sense of how they were skiing. And I get the sense that the Italians didn't quite have all their speed. However, there's one Italian that we'll get to, Dea Mea, who I noticed on the Trigger Boy channel watching the Italians train, and I recognized her from there. I didn't know who it was, and then later in the field, Dea Mea shows up. I'm like, oh, that was the girl from Trigger Boy, and she had been skiing good in those videos, and she skied good in the race. So it was cool seeing training translate over to the race. So you can do so much research right now. This is the best time ever to be a ski fan. You can go on YouTube and find whatever you need, and then you can come to Joe the Dad for the race recap and get everything else you need. Where are we? Bib 29, Ali Nollenmeyer. She was 13th on the first run. Some really fast skiing. She's a little below the gate down the pitch, which is keeping her off of the front girls. Another NCAA athlete. She was at Middlebury for 1 year. She's an All-American. Tveberg. Where is she? Bib 30. Thea Therese Tveberg. She was 18th, stronger. Another Norwegian doing well, so I guess I was just overreacting to the front girls on the Norway side. They actually are skiing pretty good. All right. After 30 racers, 2.01 was 24th place. 2.01 seconds out was 24th place-ish. 2.72 was 29th place. That's Melanie Maillard. She's in at 29th. She's 2.72. So now you're the rest of the field, and you're looking at, okay, if I go within 2 seconds, I'm sitting around 24th. I'm in good shape. All the way out at 29th, 2.72. There's a big gap there that you can slot yourself in between of that within 2 seconds and just making the second run. Now, that's all going to change. But as a back-of-the-pack skier, you're looking at a pretty achievable margin there. Bib 31 was Marta Bassino. I love seeing the people from the other disciplines come into another discipline, try and make it a new one that they have. Marta Bassino, the overall GS champion from last year, she comes out in slalom. I was really hoping that she was just going to cork one and go into like 7th place. She did not. She lost her outside ski a couple times, did not make the second run. Bib 32, Charlie Guest. She is another one that you can watch train at Levi from last week. That's on Trigger Boy. And then Camdea Mea, the Italian. She's got some spunk. She looks good. She's very two-footed. And I don't know what two-footed means. Okay? I know what I mean when I say it, but the word two-footed out there is just a word in ski racing that I don't think is very well defined at all. And if you want to get on board with me and figure out what I think two-footed looks like, then look at Dea Mea's first run from Levi, and that looks like two-footed to me. Bib 35, Hilsinger. She came down to 25th. She's a German. She looked fast. And this started like an onslaught of Germans ripping runs. And it looked like all of a sudden Germany had something going. The big headline of the first run for around Bib 40 to 48 was the Germans. It was going to be like, look at the German team, because they just had girl after girl coming in and cracking into the top 30. Bib 38 was Filzu. Bib 38. Andrea Filzer, another German. She comes through and rips one. She got herself into 26 when she came across the line. That was cool. Didn't end up making the second run, but just watching these girls come down and get inside the 30 was cool. Bib 40, Ronnie Remy. She ends up 35th. She came down in 27th, though, so it looked like she was making the second run. She's a 5-time All-American out of the University of Utah. Now, she is running a technique right now in slalom that it's interesting. I'd like to do a breakdown of it at some point. But basically, in her right-footed turns, her hips are facing towards the next gate. She's a little bit rotated with her hips. They're not going down the fall line. They're going a little across the hill towards the next gate. And that's a worthwhile technique on the World Cup, and I call that the Austrian technique, where your hips are facing towards the next gate. When you're at the gate, you're hitting. And then the more traditional technique is to have your hips facing down the fall line and have a little bit of that counter, that rotation of the skis crossing the fall line while the hips are still facing down the hill. Ronnie Remy's kind of running a hybrid, where on the right footer, she's running the Austrian technique going across the hill, and then on the left footer, she's running the traditional technique of hip being down the hill. So I think she's got to figure out which one she wants to run and then stick with it. Medorova came after that. She hung a tip going on to the first pitch. Medorova is a 2-time World Junior Slalom champion. This is a really good slalom skier that's having some struggles. Last season, she started the year probably a top 15 starter in slalom, had some bad luck, a bunch of DNFs, then not qualifying, and then towards the end of the season, maybe she got like a 17th in slalom, but she had a tough year in slalom last year. So her start number has gone way back, and she hung a tip, unfortunate, so the bad luck continues. She's fast, though. She's another one that you can see on the Trigger Boy channel training over there in Levi, and she's got speed. I mean, this is a top 15 skier. If Medorova can, shed the demons or whatever it is in slalom, she's right back into the top 15 as soon as she wants to be there. So good luck, Meta. Then came Schmoltz from Germany. She comes in at 26, and the German onslaught was on. Lila Lapagna ripped it across the top flat. Here's an American. She was 0.59 out on the second split, moving over onto the pitch. Then she went 1.73 coming off the pitch and then lost more time after that. In the splits, Lapagna was 18th top split, 14th on the second split, and then 40th and 40th as she came down. So she ripped it up top. She had some juice. She had some game up there, and then just really just did not have it on the pitch. She was behind it. She looked uncomfortable coming down the pitch. Just not very good skiing on the pitch, unfortunately. But there's speed up top, so she can build it up from there. Bib 46, Nina O'Brien. She was 0.72 out coming off of the flat. which puts her right in it. That means that she could be fast, or she is fast up there. And then she was 2 seconds out by the bottom of the pitch. She lost a lot of time on the pitch. Not a clean outside ski, a lot of pressure below the gate, kind of skiing behind the course the whole way. Did not make the second run. Amelia Smart out of Canada. Amelia Smart is raced for Denver University, the 2018 Slalom and Giant Slalom National Champion, the 2021 Slalom Champion at NCAA, and a 5-time All-American. Amelia Smart is a total BA. Came down to 28th. She make the second run. Ended up 34th. Missed it. She's a charger. She's got speed. She was not good enough on the pitch to make it down. That's where she lost most of her time. Sarah Rask is up next. She's out of Sweden. Is she related to Tuukka Rask, the goalie for the Boston Bruins? It'd be cool if they're in the same family. Moving to the next page. Let's see here. Bib 49, Escante from France. She came down into 26 with some really nice skiing. She ended up 31st. Just missed it, but Escante had some really nice skiing coming down. Bib 50, Lena Popovic came down into 24th. Wild skiing, but fast. Let's see, where did she end up? She ends up 26. Then came Bib 56 from Sweden. Let's see, Charlotta Seifenberg. She ends up 29th. Some really nice skiing from a Scandinavian local. She came out, she was charging, she looked good. AJ Hurt was up next. Now she comes off of the upper flat at 0.85 out, and then by the bottom of the pitch, she's 2.29 out. So again, the American girls are all looking about the same. They're skiing well on the top flat, good enough to be in the race, and then on the pitch, they're not getting it done. They're all basically just below the gate. A lot of heavy edge pressure below the gate, not finding the edge pressure more in the fall line. They are sliding their skis in above the gate, and then they're continuing to slide it below. I don't know if they're trying to hook up too early, carve, and then losing it, or if they're just like sinking their hips down at the top of the pitch and then just staying behind it the whole way. I'm not totally sure. I got to watch them. I don't know what their mindset is. So it's impossible to say what they're doing or what's wrong or how to fix something without knowing what they're trying to do or what their mindset is. Because if they're trying to run it full carve the whole way, well, then that's the problem. But if they're trying to run it with a schmear and then a clean bottom of the turn, well, then the schmear needs to be bigger and they need to do that. But I don't know what they're trying for right now. So I don't know. Bib 58 came down in 12th place. This was a sick run. Ninja Dvornik out of Slovenia. She just came out and ripped it. She was ecstatic in the finish line. Couldn't believe it. But if you're out there training with Shlokar, like, you got really good training around you. So that's a fast team right there. And you got Medorova. I mean, there's some fast girls on this team ready to rip. Hopefully she can hold on to it, not let the nerves get to her second run and really go out and crush. Bib 60, Emma Acher out of Germany. She comes down to 19th. The German onslaught was still on. Bib 62 from Korea. If you want to see what a fall looks like when someone gets a little dramatic, this is a run to watch. Bib 63 is the last season Sophie Mathui from Italy, last season's World Junior Slalom champion. She came out, this is a World Junior Slalom champion, so we're expecting big things, but she doesn't look ready for the World Cup spotlight. She was just sloppy and looked tight and nervous and gave one of those classic bad runs. So, but World Junior champion, let's keep an eye on her. Bib 66. Oh, this was the first Augment ski that came through the race. Augment, new ski company that's coming onto the World Cup. Noteworthy. Bib 67. Gulli out of Italy. Bib 67. Let's see. Anita Gulli out of Italy. She is the female version of Stefano Gro. She's skiing on Dalbello and Vocal, and she is wild, and she's athletic, and she's fun to watch. Did not have a great time, but super fun to watch. I'm hoping that Anita Gulli can start making some second runs because she's got some pretty exciting skiing. Bib 69, Rosa out of Finland, came down to 28th with a really great run. Let's see, did she make it? It's Paulina Rosa, 28th. Yeah, she stayed there, Finland. Great run. That's Bib 69 coming down, making the second run. It was so doable. The groove was a little bit, there was right below the gate, there was a little hole. But if you came in with a good line, you just skipped right over it and it was no problem. Let's see, Bib 74, Monsen out of Norway. She was in the top 15 in the parallel event last week. Maybe she could have done something out there, but really just didn't have it, so missed out. But noteworthy. Bib 77, Stephanie Bruner was out there. Looking forward to Stephanie Bruner getting back on track. Stephanie Bruner is a top 7 caliber World Cup athlete, but she's had some tough luck. I don't know if she got injured for a little bit or she wasn't around or missed some second runs. She looked like she lost her confidence. In GS, it looks like she's got her confidence back based on her first run at Solden, but in slalom, it kind of looks like she still doesn't have her confidence. But she's starting Bib 77, so that's got to be a tough blow for her to overcome. But she came down looking like a top 15 slalom skier for the most part. She was ripping. Speed, tight radius turns. And then she found herself fighting that little hole below the gate at the bottom instead of just flowing with it like some of the other girls that made the second run, or, Bib 58 came in as a 12th there, Ninja Dvornik. I mean, she should be looking at Dvornik thinking like, okay, how did she deal with those little holes? And anyway, Stephanie Bruner, she fought the little rut at the bottom too much, had a big mistake at the bottom, missed the second run, so it wasn't her moment to overcome the demons, get out of Bib 77, make the second run. But there's no doubt if Stephanie Bruner can get herself into the second run or just put one of her clean runs down, she moves into the second run and then she can rip one on the second run, get herself right back into the flip 30 in one race. She can get a top 10 in one race, even starting Bib 77. She's that good. I want to see it. That's all the notes I have from the first run. I hope you found this helpful. I know that I sound like an idiot, stuttering and everything, but I was up at 2:15 in the morning to shoot this. I didn't know what to do with the first run notes, and so I decided I'm just going to put it out there as the first run. It's raw, it's uncut, it's a single camera setup. I will set up the second camera later, and we'll get the proper race recap done after the second run. But I kind of wanted to talk about a lot of people. There's no editing up here, but it is what it is. Please ask me questions, give me ideas, things to talk about. Oh, I forgot to mention the new sponsor, Devin, my neighbor growing up, gave me actual money to write his name on my mug, and it should make the show a lot better. So huge thanks to Devin, executive producer of this episode, and looking forward to seeing you for the second run.